It's the only time I channel when I stand up is at the choirs. And so you will see me occasionally hold on to the microphone so that I don't fall over, which would be inappropriate at any time. Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. And so here you are again. And the irony and the beauty is basically you have no idea what you're doing. And this is the beauty. Blessed is the human being who does not fully understand the profundity of what is happening, but is guided day by day, seemingly in a vacuum, often in the dark, to follow directions that are sacred, that will then create a path for others to follow. You are the forerunners of the future. And without you following these guidelines and the choir, without coming into the full fold of what some of you feel is oddness and strangeness, without that, you would not have what we would call the full calibration of what is to come. Each year, the information may clear for you. Each year, we will then reveal some of the things that were unrevealable in the past. Let us look at a chronology. Let us clear some issues before you begin to even sing a note in this celebration ceremony. At the balance of the precession of the equinoxes, 900 of you gathered, and some here today were among them. And this was before any nodes and nulls were identified. This was before any of the information about time capsules was presented, and there you were, truly without full knowledge of why. But you felt the profundity of a message to be sent to who knows where by 900 of you that gathered to sing notes in the air through your voices that carried that which was a multidimensional force, a force, not an energy. An energy exists, a force travels. And the force that you presented singing these human consciousness tones with intent came together to create a third force that sent a message. A forced message, that is to say, there were no receivers, there were no transmitters. This planet was isolated. It was a pressure cooker. It hadn't even opened yet. And you opened it. This was the beginning. We told you you had turned a key in a lock. And now we explain a little more. The transmission that you gave at that moment was to say to the central source and all the ascended planets in the galaxy, we have arrived. We are at the junction of a shift in consciousness. We made it. We did not destroy ourselves, and we're ready for more. Intuitively, seeming like at the last moment, Yah-E decided to reverse the polarity of the tones for a reception instead of a transmission. It's a good thing he did. For then you got the message received. And you felt it, didn't you? You felt it. As simple as this seems, it sets the stage for everything to come. At that moment, without even knowing it, there were at least 1 to 2 sets of receivers we now call the time capsules that were starting to feel the activation to come. And there was what I will call a default activation and calibration of the first set. So, the Lemurian choir sent the message, activated a set of time capsules that it had no idea existed, and calibrated them with a default energy. And that reception was then able to go to Yahweh's consciousness for a higher set of tones that he would never have been able to give without that first set being achieved. Now, there is a vast difference between activating the time capsules and calibrating them, as was just explained. The activations can be done apart from a choir. It can be done in places you don't know about and people you've never heard of. Small groups on the planet in the right place at the right time. Even planetary events can activate a set of time capsules. The activation is like turning on the radio. It's ready to then receive. But like the metaphor of a radio on the planet Earth, you must then turn the dial to find the frequency you will calibrate to the reception that is needed. The reception and the calibration is not known in advance. And that is why Yahweh is involved to the degree he is. He must remember, he must receive in advance in order then to create the tones that will calibrate for the moment, for the planet, what is needed. You've had 3 choirs. There are 4 now, 4 time capsules identified, and the 4 is the Gaia energy. And the 4 will enable the 12 to then be starting to receive information of calibration so they can also be receivers in the future. 4 had to be calibrated in order for this planet to begin receiving anything. It's the percentage of the 12 needed greater than 30, just like your DNA. And so this is the chronology. The time capsules that exist, the 4, have all now been activated. 1 at Lake Titicaca, 1 with the choir, 1 in Cancun, and 1 is about to be. All of them have been activated and calibrated except the 4th in the shadow of the mountain. You are about ready to do that. Now listen, I just told you that you need 4 to be calibrated before the earth begins to receive anything. And that means that after this weekend, the planet begins to receive. It had to happen in year 1. This is year 1. Last year was the year of recalibration. Now we start calibration. These things are now obvious and should be to you, especially if you listen again to this explanation. Dear ones, what you're about to do is to calibrate the time capsules that exist in the mountain behind you and in Turkey. And both of those places, the node and the no, right now are celebrating. And I want you to feel it. And here are my instructions for the day. Do not be consumed with the minutia. Are you doing it right? Are you doing it wrong? I will tell you that there is a Pleiadian in every chair. And they're not listening if you're doing it right. They are just so happy you're doing it at all. Do you feel the profundity of the moment? There's sacredness here. There's appropriateness here. There is joy in this place. Celebration is at hand. Let it proceed. And so it is. And now we continue. And the continuation is with education. It's time to reveal what Yai is truly remembering. The Pleiadians play a great role in what you're doing now. That statement alone puts you in a category that is different from those perhaps outside the building. Perhaps for the first time, appropriately in year one, there would be those seeing this that would never have seen it before through the media, which is now being recorded here. And so there would be those who would watch this and wouldn't understand anything. In fact, they would not see what you see. They would not understand what you understand. In fact, they may even pass judgment that it's not for them and never will be. And so we will reveal just a little, perhaps, of the common sense that is here to a Pleiadian and what you're doing. You are connecting this planet to the seed biology, the creation story of the planet, of humanity. And therefore, there is an alliance for the first time to begin with communication from that which is the Seven Sisters constellation, from that which is the Pleiadians in the mountain, who are in a quantum state, a time capsule that has no time. A difficult concept indeed. One in a quantum state who has no time is not one who does not understand time, it is one who simply has none. What it means is that they can land anytime they want to, their consciousness in your clock. That's the ability. In a quantum state, it is not ruled by a linear time frame, but it is easily manipulated to a linear place if it wants to be. It can be anywhere, at any time. The Pleiadians, you may think, have waited a long time for this. To them, not really. The celebration with Adama and the others in the mountain is beginning and has started days ago. But they really haven't waited that long in the consciousness of a quantum state. Let me tell you something about the physiology of a Pleiadian. The human being is born with differences in the throat chakra that are biological between the male and the female, and you will even see it. You call the male has an Adam's apple. That is, of course, named after the metaphoric Adam of Adam and Eve, Adam representing the male. That is different between the male and the female on the planet. That is a difference also in a Pleiadian, male and female. There is a difference in the throat chakra. The physiology of the vocal cords is different. Men and women on the planet, yes, it is the same, except the woman's vocal cords are shorter, higher, men's longer, and therefore deeper in voice. The Pleiadians have a different kind of scenario. The female has a muscle in the vocal cord, much like on a guitar string, a human would put their finger on the string to make it higher or lower. The female can do this with a muscle. The female has the attribute of creating sounds that are higher than a human can hear. Now you're starting to have a little indication of why you're making some of the sounds you are. Now I have a revelation. Some of the sounds are the Pleiadian language.